Good morning, my name is Jose Espinosa, Public Information Officer for the Laredo Police Department, and we want to thank you for being here today as we gather for a deeply meaningful and solemn occasion, the Domestic Violence and Crimes Against Women Memorial. This is a moment for our community to come together in remembrance, in reflection, and in resolve. We are here not only to honor the lives of those taken too soon by acts of violence, but also uplift the voices of the survivors, acknowledge the resilience of families, and recommit ourselves to ending domestic and gender-based violence in all its forms. Today's memorial is supported by many dedicated leaders in our city, and we are grateful for their presence. Please join me in welcoming our city officials, the Honorable Dr. Victor Trevino, Mayor of the City of Laredo. And his wife, Ms. Rosa Marquez. Council Member for District 3, Ms. Melissa Cigarroa. From the Laredo Police Department Command Staff, we have Chief of Police Miguel A. Rodriguez Jr. Assistant Chief Rene Alvarado. Deputy Chief Benito Martinez. Deputy Chief Jorge Valdez. And Deputy Chief Edgar Garza. From the Fire Department, we have District Chief Rolando Martinez. From Laredo Public Health Director, we have Dr. Richard Chamberlain. We also have Sister Rosemary Welsh. From the Webb County Sheriff's Office, we have the CID Unit and the Crime Victims Unit Coordinator, Esmeralda Melendez. At the heart of this memorial are the families who have experienced unimaginable loss. To the families of the victims, your loved ones are not forgotten. Their names, their stories, and their spirits live on this community's commitment to justice, support, and healing. We honor you and we honor them. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Victor Trevino to share a few words.
Good morning, Dr. Victor Trevino, Mayor for the City of Laredo. It is important to be here today to bring awareness of domestic violence and crimes against women. It is important to educate our public and, most importantly, our youth, because these lessons of mutual respect start at an early age, so our parents can make a bigger difference and impact to stop these crimes, but also extend it to educators, teachers, coaches, and everyone around children, even family members, uncles, aunts, everybody involved with the presence of children. We have to remember that women are our grandmothers, our mothers, sisters, relatives, our aunts, and these are important family members that we need to take into consideration. So as mayor, we'll continue to advocate for this investment in our community. And so one day we can be free of these crimes in our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I would also like to ask Councilmember Melissa Cigarroa to share a few words.
Good morning, buenos días, y gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Nomás quería expresar mis sentimientos, mis condolencias a todas las familias que están aquí. Estos crímenes son algo inimaginable de horror, y no queremos que nadie en nuestra comunidad tiene que sufrir como ustedes han sufrido. Y también quiero saber que aquí en la ciudad estamos dedicados que las memorias de sus miembros de familia no nos van a olvidar, que van a guiarnos en el futuro para que estamos siempre tratando de ser una comunidad más seguro, más lindo, que entendemos más que respetar uno a otro es la fundación de una sociedad y no vamos a aguantar nada menos. Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros esta mañana.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Next, I'd like to ask Chief Rodriguez to share a few words.
Good morning, buenos días. So I want to first get started a little bit of what I wrote here as a speech and how we got to this point, right? And so right behind us, what used to be here used to be a trophy case for everything that the police department would do throughout the year, right? And then whether it was a top dog like award, and the top dog award goes to the officer that, is the most athletic and the most, that shoots the best and does all these great things to be able to do the job that we do on a daily basis. The other thing is also anything that we also engage in the community, and that we get awards for and trophies that were displayed here. And so when we talked about what can we do better, right? And when we had incidents that happened from the beginning of this year to what it is now, right? And we have, so far this year, we have 3 victims of this horrible crime. And so we talked about it with our Special Victims Unit, we talked about it with our CID command, and we came to the conclusion that we don't have to display trophies here, right? We have to do better. And what I mean we have to do better is that we have to make sure that for every victim that comes into our community and that falls victim of domestic violence or just plain and simple violence against women, we have to do more. We have to be very aggressive in spreading the word that this type of crime remains silent, right? We tend not to share about it. We tend not to talk about it. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is to make sure that we display this so that we don't forget our victims first and foremost, that what happened to them, that it does not stay behind closed doors, and we continue our lives as it was before, because to the families here, we know that is not the case. We know that everything changed. So today we stand together for something far more than a ceremony. We're here to unveil a memorial wall that carries the weight of heartbreak, the strength of survival, and a solemn promise that we would do better. We must do better. This domestic violence and violence against women memorial wall is not just made of stone, steel, and pictures. It is built with stories of lives that were taken too soon. It is a wall of remembrance, but it's also a wall of warning. To the families gathered here, please hear me when I say their voices were silenced, but their stories will be heard. This is a space that honors your loved ones, but also amplifies your voices. Your courage is to share, to fight, to push for change. It is what gives this wall this meaning. To my fellow officers here today, this wall is a message to all of us. It is a reminder that domestic violence is not just a private matter. It is a deadly threat, a danger that hides in plain sight, often behind closed doors, sometimes masked by silence or fear. And it is our job to break that silence, to respond with urgency, to protect victims before it's too late. Every name on this wall is a life that should still be here. And if we ever forget that, if we ever let routine or fatigue numb our response, this wall will be here to remind us. Let this be the last wall of its kind we ever have to build. Let this be a space where families gather to honor, not to grieve, new names. A space where officers come to remember why we wear this badge, to serve, to protect, and to prevent harm wherever we can and whenever we can. To all the survivors, to all the families here today, And to all who have suffered in silence, we see you, we stand with you, and we fight for you. And we will continue to fight for you. Again, this wall is for that. This wall is for us to not forget. And we want to encourage everybody that walks into our facilities to remind them of the dangers of what it is, domestic violence and violence against women. You see, we continue to see ourselves and in our society now more than everything. We continue to see social media blaming and putting the blame game and continue to say, well, it was this person's fault, or it was that person's fault. We have to stop that. We have to put things in action. And when we look inside each other and we see somebody within our families going through something, that we not only report it, but we continue to engage them in making sure that we have conversations with the family. That is your strongest unit right there. And so when we talk about this wall and we have individuals walking in here, this is what this is going to remind us. And we're going to make sure that the pictures that are on the wall today puts that effort from that wall and making sure that we remind everybody that walks in and reminds our officers as to the dangers that it is. Because let me remind you, yes, victims go through this and it's something horrible that they go through every day, whether the victim either falls victim of domestic violence through death or fall victims of domestic violence abuse for many years. It doesn't have to carry to the point of death, but is that it carries throughout many years. We have victims here that still are 40, 50 years old, still experiencing domestic violence. And so we have to make sure that we continue the fight. And so today is for you, the families, and to make sure that everybody that's on this wall, that never is forgotten. Thank you, and we will unveil the wall.
We have now reached the heart of today's ceremony, the unveiling of the Victim Memorial Wall. This wall stands as a tribute to the lives lost to violence, domestic violence, and crimes against women. It is a space of remembrance and honor and of hope. Each name etched on this wall tells a story of love, of loss, and a community's vow to never forget. Angelica Martinez, in 2015, was killed by her husband after a history of jealousy and threats. Griselda Hernandez and Dominic Hernandez, in 2018, a mother and her infant son were killed during a meeting with the child's father, following a dispute over paternity and child support. Ileana Lisbeth Estrada, in 2020, she was a victim of a murder-suicide by her former partner and after a history of domestic violence and jealousy. Victoria Mireles, in 2020, a young woman who was fatally shot after a meeting arranged through social media. The circumstances were suspicious and contradicted the suspect's statements. Maria Eugenia Munoz, in 2020, she was murdered by her husband. Samuel Mendez and Samuel Mendez Jr. In 2021, a father and his son were killed by a family member during a domestic conflict that escalated to fatal violence. Justin Allen. In 2021, he was a victim of a targeted robbery and homicide by an acquaintance connected to a family. Crystal Limon. In 2023, she was shot by the father of her children after a history of domestic violence and CPS involvement. Heidi Montalvo. In 2025, she was a victim of a murder-suicide by a man who became obsessed with her. Frida Castillo. In 2025, she was murdered by her ex-boyfriend during a violent attack driven by jealousy. At this time, I ask everyone to please join me in a moment of silence to reflect on the lives represented here and for all the lives that have been lost to violent crimes. Thank you. At this time, I would like to thank Sergeant Daisy Pliego, Sergeant of the Special Victims Unit, the Criminal Investigative Bureau, Crime Victims Coordinator, Ms. Norma Garcia, Ashley Slaymaker, Administrative Assistant, and everyone else involved organizing and putting this event together. This concludes today's memorial, and let us carry the memory of the victims with us, not only in our hearts, but in our actions. Thank you.